Good afternoon, and welcome to Writing Seminar 190, The Monuments Must Fall. My name is Professor Joseph Lewis, and I will be your instructor for this semester. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a challenge on Thursday as a result of Hurricane Ida, and my family and I were evacuated from our apartment in the morning. And so everything is fine now. We were able to move back in, and I hope that everyone is safe and finds this video in good health and safety. So the purpose of this video is to give you a brief introduction into the class and also what you need to have for Tuesday's class, which will officially be our first day of class. So the three things I'm going to cover in this video will be the Google Doc that I want you to fill out for Tuesday's class, the course reading assignment that I want you to have for Tuesday's class, and I'm also going to talk about a reading strategy that you can use to help you get through that first reading assignment. So let's dig in. So the first thing, the Google Doc. What I have included in the email is a Google Doc that is designed to help us just to get to know each other better. In that Google Doc, I want you to include your first and last name. I also want you to include some information about why are you taking this class, along with a social movement, an activist movement that you are passionate about or interested in. Perhaps you don't have a social movement that you like right offhand that is interesting to you in this moment, but perhaps there's a cause that you care about. So I want you to document that on the Google sheet. Along with that Google sheet, there'll also be a question on there that discusses any sort of writing questions that you might have in terms of challenges with writing or expectations that you have in a writing seminar. And so what I want you to do is fill that Google sheet out, and that'll give us an opportunity to introduce ourselves to one another. Feel free to look at that Google Doc because it's going to be a living, breathing digital document. Look at that Google Doc and get a sense of who your comrades are in the class this semester. And please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns about filling out that doc. One of the things I want to stress is that you do not, and I repeat, you do not have to write a long-winded dissertation on the Google Doc. I'm looking for about 3 sentences, maybe 3 to 4, perhaps 5 sentences in response to those questions. And that's going to be something to keep in mind, particularly around the question that asks you to respond to the social movement that you're interested in or care about, and also some of the challenges or questions that you have about writing. Now, the reason why we're looking at this Google Doc, or the reason why that specific question about the social activist movement or the cause that you care about, is that this semester we're going to talk about motive. What drives the academic piece, right? And so thinking about the social movement or the cause that you care about right now, you are thinking about your personal motive, not just around why you're taking this class, but the work that you're going to do in this class over the course of the semester. Oftentimes, that sort of motive will change as time goes on. But right now, I really want you to think about why are you in this class and what are the things that you care about. If you were given the opportunity to change the world, what would you change? And this is going to be the thing. This is going to be the motive that drives you to do the research that you do in this class for the semester. The second thing is the course reading assignment for Tuesday. Now, this reading assignment is written by a humanities scholar by the name of Judith Butler. And Judith Butler does a lot of philosophical work on embodiment. So in this course, we're going to be talking about social activist movements. We're going to be talking about embodiment, how bodies come together within particular spaces, how they're in relation to objects, to monuments, how that makes us think about social memory, some of the conflicts and tensions between the present and the past. And so what Judith Butler does is that she theorizes about this idea of embodiment and assembly and occupation. And so what I want us to do is dig into that article and use this as a talking point to get class started for Tuesday. Now, let me caution you, this article is going to be a difficult read, especially for those of you that are not, that don't have a lot of experience with academic text or texts that are really philosophical in nature. So one of the things I always say about reading academic articles or challenging texts is don't let the text read you. You read the text. So instead of going or approaching Judith Butler in one sitting and trying to flip through page by page by page, paragraph by paragraph, word by word, I am going to encourage you to use this active reading strategy called SQ3R to help you get through Judith Butler's text. So the SQ3R reading strategy basically stands for survey with the S, question for the Q, and the 3 R's are read, recite, and review. So when you encounter the Judith Butler article, before you start reading, before you get overwhelmed at the complex language and all of the words on the page, sit back and scan it, survey it. What is there bold print in the article? What sort of unfamiliar vocabulary words appear? How many pages is it? What are some of the names that stick out to you that you've heard somewhere before, or some of the concepts? Go through the article before you even read it and just scan it and then highlight some key words that you think are important. When you do this, you're building your schema. You're building your prior knowledge. It's almost like going to an IMDb page before you actually watch the movie. So now that you've built your schema, ask yourself some questions. What is this article going to be about? Why is Professor Lewis making us read this? Am I familiar with Occupy Wall Street? How does this connect with the issue that I care about? All questions are good questions. Spend some time listing about 20, 30 questions that come to your mind after you skim the article. What that will do is it will build a forecast for you to actually read the article. And so when you read the article, now you have this armor, you have this sort of background, you have a context to go into the article. And so then you can ask yourself when you're taking notes in the article, are my questions being answered? You're not going to have all of your questions answered, but what it will do is that it will allow for you to have a sense of the context and engage with the article in a much more active way versus letting the article read you. And so after you've asked the questions, that first R is read through it. I highly recommend that you do not wait until Monday night to read this article. Try to do it in small chunks every day. Try to do a little bit after you've watched the video, then a little bit more on Saturday, same on Sunday, same on Monday. Give yourself some time Monday evening to write some notes to yourself to prepare for class on Tuesday. And then you'll be ready, fresh, and ready to go for Tuesday's discussion on Butler's text. Then, after that first R, is recite. Have a conversation about it. Try to teach what you've read to yourself. Recite what's going on the page. And finally, the final R is rereading or review. Review not only what you've read, but review the notes that you've taken. Review the questions that you've asked. Because what that's going to do is that's going to come around on the back end and say, okay, this is what here are the questions that I've had, here's what I've observed, and here's what I'm going to do with that information that I've read. So in this email, I've included the link to the Google Doc. I've also included the Butler piece that you need to read for Tuesday, and I've included a link that talks about and describes the SQ3R strategy. As a disclaimer for the SQ3R strategy, that link that I provided is an update on what I've just described. So what these people are going to do in the video is that they're going to give you a context to the SQ3R strategy, and then they're going to say, here are our updates. Here's how we're sort of thinking about the SQ3R strategy in an updated version. But you can go online, you can go on Google and find an array of explanations, different ways to approach SQ3R. Because the SQ3R strategy is going to be an important strategy, not just for this class, but it's also going to help you in your other classes here at Princeton. And it's also a useful strategy to help you prepare for tests. So again, you'll never be read by the article, you'll read the article. You'll be that active reader and be more confident when it comes down time to either taking the test or having the discussion in class. So those are the three things that I want you to focus on for Tuesday's class. The Canvas site is up, so you should have access to the Canvas site. But let me caution you to not get so steeped and mired in the information on the Canvas site. All of that information in regards to the course seminar, the syllabus, due dates, assignments, we're going to talk about all of that stuff in class. So what I'm going to do over the weekend is I am going to revise the schedule to make sure that our first official day is Tuesday, and make sure that we're all on the same page when we come to class on Tuesday. So you don't have to worry so much about addressing those concerns that you might have after you're reading or when you read the Canvas site. For Tuesday, I would like you to just focus on that Google Doc, the Butler piece, and the SQ3R reading strategy. So if you have any questions or concerns between now and Tuesday, please do not hesitate to reach out and let me know. I will try to get back to your questions as soon as possible. In the meantime, happy reading, happy writing, and I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday.